Mental strength isn't about being tough. It's not about how loud you are, how long you can grind, or how much pain you can fake your way through. It's about clarity. It's about detachment. It's about seeing things as they really are, not as you wish they were. You've been lied to. Mental toughness isn't forged in loud gyms or hype videos. It's built in silence, in stillness, in moments no one claps for. The Stoics knew this, and they didn't just know it, they lived it. In the middle of collapsing empires, corrupt leaders, and brutal conditions, they practiced habits that made them mentally unbreakable. But somewhere along the way, we softened. We began calling discomfort trauma. We began treating struggle like a glitch in the system, not a feature of life. We've replaced philosophy with platitudes, replaced discipline with dopamine, and every day we drift further away from the mindset that built empires and endured suffering with grace. This isn't just about self-help, this is about survival. Because when life punches you in the mouth, and it will, what will you have left? Your motivation? Gone. Your plans? Broken. Your strength? It's only real if it was built before the storm. This video isn't for the weak. Not because you're born strong, but because you want to become it. Not loud, performative strength, but quiet, permanent strength. The kind that doesn't need to prove anything. The kind that doesn't collapse when no one's watching. The kind that makes you untouchable. Let's begin where most people won't even look, within. Because the habits you're about to learn won't just harden your mind. They'll silence your fears. And maybe, just maybe, they'll change your life. This isn't a list of motivational quotes. It's not a highlight reel of Marcus Aurelius platitudes. And it's definitely not the watered-down version of Stoicism that trends on social media. This is a blueprint. A set of uncomfortable, often counterintuitive Stoic practices that aren't just ideas. They're weapons. Tested in fire. Forged under pressure. And sharpened by men who had every reason to break, but didn't. You'll learn how to kill fear before it kills your potential. How to live each day like it's borrowed. How to thrive in solitude while the world drowns in noise. You'll see why hope can be a trap. Why pain isn't your enemy. And why real strength is quiet, invisible, and terrifying to those who've never built it. What you'll gain isn't comfort. It's not a dopamine hit. It's perspective. It's power. And above all, it's peace. Because the strongest minds are never loud. They're still, focused, detached. And when the world burns, they don't flinch. Number 1. Learn to die daily. There's a practice that sounds extreme, morbid even, one that ancient Stoics held sacred, not once a year, not once a crisis hit, but every single day. Memento mori. Remember, you must die. Sounds grim, but it's not about fear, it's about freedom. Because nothing slices through ego, resentment, and procrastination like imagining your life ending tonight. Not tomorrow, not 10 years from now, tonight. If this was your final day, would you be proud of how you spent it? Would the petty arguments, the scrolling, the excuses still matter? When Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, was sentenced to death by Nero, he didn't protest. He didn't beg. Instead, he opened his veins calmly, gave his final thoughts to friends, and accepted his death with clarity. Why? Because he'd already rehearsed it. Every day of his life, Seneca meditated on the possibility of death. So when it finally came, it didn't break him. It simply arrived. Seneca didn't die that night. He'd been dying daily for decades. The body just caught up. Now, fast forward to you. You woke up today assuming you'd make it to bedtime. You'll probably assume the same tomorrow. And that assumption is exactly why you waste time. You hold grudges. You hesitate to speak up. You skip the hard conversation. You put off the thing you know you need to do, because in your mind, there's always more time. Here's the habit, the one that rewires your brain and kills your excuses. Tonight, before bed, sit down in silence and imagine, truly imagine, that this was your last day on earth. Replay everything you said, everything you avoided, everything you consumed, mentally and emotionally. Ask yourself, if this was my final performance, would I be proud? Not happy. Proud. This single habit, done nightly, will shatter the illusion of someday. It will strip the fluff from your calendar. It will silence the voice that says, later. Because when you learn to die daily, you finally learn to live. Fully, urgently, without apology. Neurologically, this practice is a reset. Studies in terror management theory show that reflecting on death consciously doesn't lead to despair. It leads to clarity. It triggers meaning-seeking behavior, heightens awareness, prioritizes relationships and purpose. In short, it burns away the trivial, and what's left is real. When you meditate on death, not only does procrastination die, so does ego. You no longer need to win every argument, no longer care about being liked by everyone. Because when you realize you're not even promised tomorrow, you stop wasting today trying to prove something. Remember this. Death isn't the enemy. Delay is. You don't fear dying. You fear not having lived. And every day you avoid this truth. You die a little more without even noticing. So tonight, before your head hits the pillow, die just once. And watch what's reborn in the morning. Number 2. Withhold opinion as a power move. Most people react to the world like it's a fire they're trying to put out. Something happens, and boom, judgment rushes in. This is bad. This is unfair. This is amazing. But what if that rush is the problem? What if real power isn't found in answers, but in delay? Not passivity, precision. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Don't let your imagination be crushed by life as a whole. Stick with the present situation." And he added, "If you can, correct it. If not, endure it. Stop interpreting it as something more." He knew the truth, that events are never good or bad. They just are. It's your opinion, the mental label you slap on it, that makes it hurt. And that's exactly where you lose control. Viktor Frankl was locked in a Nazi concentration camp. His family murdered, his freedom stripped. And yet, he didn't lose his mind. Why? Because even in hell, he understood this one truth. Everything can be taken from a man, but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. He paused, delayed judgment, refused to interpret his suffering as meaningless. That space, between what happened and what he chose to believe, that's where his freedom lived. Imagine someone insults you. Most people snap. But the Stoic does nothing, yet. He watches the emotion rise, waits for it to settle. Then, maybe, he speaks. Maybe he doesn't. Because the delay, that's the power move. It makes you unpredictable, calm, calculated, and untouchable. When others rush to react, you sit still like water. And that silence, it makes noise. Be slow to speak, slow to anger. James 1:19. Not because you're weak, but because silence tests your mastery. In Proverbs 17:28, it says, "Even a fool is considered wise when he keeps silent." There's strength in restraint. There's dominance in delay. Here's the Stoic practice. Try it now. Simple, but brutal. Next time something triggers you, a rejection, a rude message, a headline, don't label it. Don't flinch. Don't interpret. Just say this internally. This is not good. This is not bad. This just is. Then wait. Wait long enough, and clarity always comes. Wait long enough, and you see what others don't. The story you're telling yourself is optional. The world will push you to decide, label, react. But the Stoic doesn't bite. He withholds opinion like a weapon still sheathed. And in doing so, he wins, not by fighting the world, but by refusing to hand it his peace. Number 3, social fasting, ghost, comfort, not people. You don't realize how loud the world is until you mute it. How addicted we've become to reactions, approval, applause. A message, a like, a reply, you're doing great. But the Stoic knows validation is a drug, and like any drug, the more you need it, the weaker you become. This is where social fasting begins. Not ghosting people, ghosting comfort. Because the deepest identity reset doesn't come from more connection. It comes from intentional disconnection. The Stoics called this withdrawing into the self. Not isolation. Reflection. Let's go back. 2nd century Rome. The Emperor Hadrian hears of a strange teacher, a former slave named Epictetus. Word spreads. This man lives with nothing, yet fears no one. No servants, no gold, no scrolls praising him. Just a small room in Nicopolis and a voice like steel. Hadrian sends men to observe him. They return and say, "He speaks like someone who needs no one." Epictetus had discovered something modern people fear more than death: solitude. didn't withdraw to be lonely. He withdrew to burn off the ego, the part of you that only exists because other people are looking. Now fast forward to today. Naval Ravikant, multimillionaire, thinker, minimalist. He said it simply: escape competition through authenticity. And the only way to be truly authentic, spend time alone, without an audience, without applause. When asked what changed his life most, he didn't say money or fame or a new morning routine. He said silence. Walking, reading, thinking, sitting with no input and watching what surfaced. Here's the challenge. Do a 3-day social fast. Not from people you love, from the noise you crave. Skip the small talk, the social scrolling, the reflexive texting. Speak only when you must. Share only when it matters. You'll notice something strange. Your identity starts to shift. Without feedback, your thoughts feel more foreign, more raw, but more real. You'll realize how much of you was shaped by what others reflected back. And without that mirror, you'll start to rebuild, slower, quieter, stronger. Social fasting resets your nervous system, your mind. You stop performing, stop comparing, start observing. Because when you ghost comfort, you find clarity. And clarity is rare in a world addicted to noise. You don't need to leave society. Just pull out of the algorithm for a while. The algorithm of approval, of commentary, of needing to be seen. Even in Scripture we see this practice. Before Jesus taught, he withdrew to the desert. Alone, no crowd, no validation, no miracles, just solitude, silence, strength. 40 days alone, to silence the noise so the message could come through clearly. And that's the real reason for withdrawal, not to escape the world, but to return to it untangled. This isn't self-help, it's self-stripping. You remove the layers of performance until what's left is solid, not built on praise, not shaped by response, but forged in quiet. The Stoic doesn't reject people. He rejects the addiction to being seen, and in doing so he becomes someone the world can no longer shape, only observe. Number 4, discomfort is the discipline. There's a lie we were all sold, that if you work hard enough, plan well enough, structure everything just right, life becomes easy. But the Stoic sees through that illusion, because life isn't hard to punish you, it's hard to prepare you, and the ones who rise are not the ones who avoid discomfort. They're the ones who train in it. Discomfort is not a glitch, it's the path. And the Stoic doesn't wait for it to arrive, he goes looking for it. Why? Because discipline isn't a feeling, it's a muscle. And like all muscles, it only grows under resistance. Look at David Goggins. Before the fame, before the books, just a man who was broken, overweight, abused, invisible. Until one day, he decided to weaponize his suffering. He started running in pain, lifting in pain, studying in pain, not to escape it, to use it. Because when your body is screaming to stop, and your mind keeps going, that's when the ego dies, and the real self begins. The Stoics practiced what we now call voluntary discomfort. Seneca would sleep on the ground some nights, wear rough clothes, eat plain food. Why? Because he wanted to rehearse the worst, so when it came, it would feel familiar. This isn't masochism, it's mental armor. Every day you do something uncomfortable. You remind your nervous system, we don't break here, we adapt. Jocko Willink wakes up before the sun, not because it's efficient, because it's hard, because discomfort is the only thing that doesn't lie. You can fake a resume, fake a smile, but you can't fake discipline. And when that alarm goes off at 4:30, and it's cold, and your bed is soft, discipline either speaks or it doesn't. Discomfort isn't always loud. Sometimes it's subtle, a craving, an urge, a compulsion. You want to check your phone, eat the sugar, skip the workout. But here's the truth. Every time you resist that impulse, you're rewriting who you are. Not just changing behavior, changing identity. Discipline says, I can choose discomfort now, so I don't suffer later. Try this. For the next 7 days, voluntarily choose one source of discomfort. Cold showers, early mornings, no sugar, extended silence, daily workouts, a hard conversation you've been avoiding. It doesn't matter what it is. What matters is this. It should scare your comfort zone. Then do it, every day, for a week. And track how your self-respect changes, because that's what grows when you lean into pain. Not muscles, not abs, not productivity. Self-respect. The world tells you to avoid discomfort. The Stoic teaches you to train in it. Because when life really tests you, you don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your discipline. And if you've made discomfort your ally, you won't fall far. Number 5. Use disgust constructively. There's a feeling most people hide from. They deny it, shame it, lock it away because it's ugly. Disgust. Not at the world, not at others, at ourselves. At the moments we settle, at the times we lie, at the hours we waste scrolling while our ambition withers. And here's the thing no one tells you. That very disgust can save your life. If you stop running from it and start listening to it. Seneca once wrote, "Vice steals more lives than violence." What did he mean? That you don't need a sword to lose yourself, just a phone, a couch, a voice in your head that says, "It's fine, try tomorrow." This isn't judgment, it's recognition. We've all been there, that moment you feel sick at what you're becoming. You look at the dishes piling up, the messages you haven't returned, the promises you keep breaking to yourself. And then it hits you, that slow, quiet nausea. Not because the world is cruel, but because you've stopped showing up as who you know you could be. Epictetus warned his students about rot. Not physical, moral. He said that when a person accepts mediocrity once, they rarely stop at once. It becomes a ritual, a daily quiet betrayal. Until soon they don't even notice it anymore. But a Stoic notices. And a Stoic uses that disgust as fuel. There's a man I met who broke a generational chain of violence and poverty. How? He saw someone he loved overdose on the same drug he was about to try. He said in that moment he felt a violent disgust, not toward them, but toward the path. And that revulsion hit so deep, He dropped everything. Moved cities, cut ties, got sober, rebuilt his body, and never looked back. It wasn't motivation. It wasn't a podcast. It was disgust, transformed into discipline. You can do the same. You don't need a collapse, or a tragedy, or rock bottom. You just need a moment of honesty. Sit with your journal and ask yourself, what behavior do I secretly resent in myself? What patterns make me feel smaller, not stronger? What am I tolerating that would disgust the strongest version of me? Then stare at the answers. Don't flinch. Because in that moment of raw confrontation, you finally stop lying to yourself. And when you stop lying to yourself, you stop lying to the world. The goal isn't to stay disgusted. The goal is to transmute it into movement, into ritual, into fire. Start small. Take back the first hour of your day. Delete one app. Say no when you mean no. That's how the chain breaks. Not with noise, with quiet, precise rebellion. Every decision that repels your old self is a win. Every act of discipline is a middle finger to the version of you that gave up. And one day, not far from now, you'll look in the mirror and feel something new. Not disgust, but honor. Number 6, train in controlled chaos. You can read every Stoic book, meditate for hours, plan the perfect routine. But if your world shatters the moment the unexpected shows up, you're not strong, you're sheltered. Stoicism doesn't teach you to build a fortress. It teaches you how to walk barefoot through fire. You want to be unbreakable? Then train in chaos, on purpose. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Meditations, surrounded by death, betrayal, and instability." He didn't have a quiet villa. He had blood on the ground and Roman generals questioning his rule. And yet, in those pages, he writes like a man at peace. Why? Because he stopped asking for comfort and trained for unpredictability instead. Structure is important, but the Stoics knew, if structure is all you have, you're fragile. Try this. Flip your day upside down. Work out at midnight. Take a cold shower in the afternoon. Eat with your left hand. Don't check your phone for 24 hours. Why? Because chaos reveals who's driving the ship, your discipline or your dopamine. And most people don't want to know the answer. Controlled chaos isn't recklessness. It's a lab, a testing ground. It's how you stretch your tolerance for the unpredictable before life forces it on you. That woman, she didn't slay a dragon. She just raised her hand and said, "I'll go first." And her world expanded. One small act of self-inflicted discomfort. That's all it takes to rewire what you fear. Epictetus didn't teach resilience through theory. He threw people into discomfort. He told his students to wear old clothes, to beg for food, to intentionally look foolish in public. Why? Because once you stop fearing embarrassment, you become untouchable. No praise can inflate you. No insult can puncture you. That's power, and it's earned in chaos. 1. Change your morning routine entirely. 2. Talk to 3 strangers each day. 3. Eat one meal with no devices, in total silence. 4. Take 3 cold showers. 5. Say no to every invitation for 24 hours. 6. Go one day without complaining, out loud or in thought. 7. Do one thing today that makes you deeply uncomfortable. This isn't about breaking you, It's about showing you that you won't break. You think discomfort will crush you? Let it try. Because discomfort doesn't destroy people. Fear of it does. But when you make chaos your ally, you stop bracing for the storm. You become it. You want freedom? Then make your peace with unpredictability. Stop scripting the world. Start training in its mess. Because the Stoic doesn't avoid chaos. They walk into it, calm, ready, and clear-eyed. Number 7. Commit to obscurity. You're told to be seen. Post more, speak louder, network harder, climb faster. But the Stoic, he does the opposite. He chooses obscurity on purpose. There is a power in being unknown, in building something great with no applause, no recognition, no reward. Most people can't do that, not because they lack discipline, but because they need to be seen. The ego feeds on acknowledgement, but a starving ego, that's when the real work begins. She paints every day, not for fame, not for sales, but because the work itself demands it. That's obscurity. That's mastery without an audience. Marcus Aurelius never meant for you to read his journals. He didn't write them to be a philosopher. He wrote them to survive his own mind. He ruled the most powerful empire in the world, and still he kept his greatness hidden. Not because he was modest, because he understood this. When you explain yourself, you lose something. Your clarity, your center, your strength. Want a real challenge? Don't explain yourself. When they misunderstand you, let them. When they underestimate you, let them. When your work is ignored, do more of it. You don't need to be loud to be legendary. You just need to last. Silence over time is louder than applause. There's something unsettling about a person who wins and doesn't brag, who creates and doesn't share, who knows and doesn't correct you. You can't predict them, you can't manipulate them, you can't control them, because they don't need anything from you. And that's terrifying to the ego. So here's your practice. Say less than necessary, do more than expected, disappear until the work is undeniable. Every day ask yourself, would I still do this if no one ever knew? Because when the answer is yes, you've found your freedom. Don't seek the spotlight, outgrow it. Because the Stoic doesn't chase recognition, he becomes worthy of it, then walks away. We've now covered 7 powerful Stoic habits, each one designed to sharpen your mind, strengthen your spirit, and make you untouchable in the face of life's challenges. But knowing these habits isn't enough. True mental resilience comes from practice, from rehearsing hardship before it arrives. That's where mental inoculation comes in. In the next 15 minutes, I'm going to guide you through a series of exercises that will train your mind to face loss, shame, failure, and even death. These aren't just ideas, you will experience them mentally, so when life hits, you don't break. This is Stoicism in action, not theory, not words, but preparation. Ready? Let's begin. Pain doesn't ruin you. Shock does. And the Stoic understands this. To suffer less later, you must suffer deliberately now. This is the purpose of mental inoculation, not to make you pessimistic, but to make you prepared. Seneca once wrote, "He robs present ills of their power who has perceived their coming beforehand." So here's how we train. 5 minutes, one mind, no distractions. You will face 4 shadows: loss, shame, failure, death. But not as concepts, as experiences, pre-lived. 1. Loss. Close your eyes. Picture the person you love most, gone. not to punish yourself, to remember what you have. See the empty chair, the uncalled number, the silence. Now ask yourself, if today were the last day you saw them, did you show up fully, or were you too distracted to look them in the eye? Feel it, let it bruise. That's where clarity begins. 2. Shame. Now imagine this, the thing you're most afraid people will know. They find out. The lie, the failure, the weakness you hide behind perfection. It's public now, no place to run. Feel the heat rise in your face, the mental spiral. Then breathe and say, I am not my worst moment, and I do not die from being seen. Let it settle. 3. Failure. Picture your plan, your dream, years of effort, gone. No payoff, no redemption arc, nothing. You're 40, 50, back at zero. Feel the silence of no one watching, no one waiting. Now ask, would you still create? Would you still write, train, build, if no one ever cared? This is your test, and your answer defines your worth. 4. Death. Now imagine this is it. You don't wake up tomorrow. What was left unsaid, unwritten, unforgiven? What did you put off, assuming you had time? Now take one breath and feel what it's like to know nothing more can be added, only remembered. From this place, live. You've rehearsed the fall. Now stand taller. Because the man who sees the strike coming doesn't flinch. Negative visualization is not darkness. It's armor, and it sharpens you into something unbreakable. You no longer fear the loss. You've held it in your mind and walked through fire. When it arrives in real life, it will arrive as something smaller than you imagined, because you've already survived it in advance. You've just taken in 7 Stoic habits, 7 daily micro-acts of rebellion. Rebellion against comfort, rebellion against modern fragility, rebellion against the invisible chains that keep us anxious, weak, and distracted. Each habit, small by itself, forms a powerful shield when practiced daily. These habits don't ask you to be perfect. They ask you to be present, to be honest, and to take back control over your mind and life. So here's the challenge. For the next 7 days, pick one habit. Immerse yourself fully. Live it, breathe it. Make it your focus. Day 1. Learn to die daily. Day 2. Withhold opinion as a power move. Day 3. Social fasting. Day 4. Radical acceptance of limits. Day 5. Use disgust constructively. Day 6. Train in controlled chaos. Day 7. Commit to obscurity. Every evening, journal your experience. What was hard? What surprised you? Did your mind resist or open? This is your personal laboratory, your mental gym. Return to this video after 1 week. Review the habits. See what stuck, what needs reworking, and watch your mental armor grow. The goal isn't to become emotionless or cold. It's to be untouchable by life's chaos, to walk through storms with a calm heart, to live fiercely, not fearfully. Start today, start now, because the strongest mind is forged in daily battle, and that battle begins with you. You've been told to chase control, clarity, and calm, to seek peace and order in a chaotic world. But real Stoicism, it's stranger than that. Sharper, more ruthless. It doesn't promise comfort. It demands courage. The courage to face the darkness inside you, to stare down fear, loss, and failure, and to keep moving forward anyway. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." This path isn't for everyone. It requires persistence, honesty, and a willingness to feel deeply without flinching. So be brave enough to live it. Not just learn it. Live it. Let these habits become the backbone of your days. The quiet force that holds you steady. The untouchable spirit inside you. If you found value here, if you're ready to strengthen your mind and heart, subscribe to this channel for more real, raw, and powerful insights. Walk this path with us. Grow stronger. And remember, true strength is quiet. True power is patience. And your journey is just beginning.